Ladies and gentlemen, hello! Welcome to the very first ever live episode of the Nerd Spectrum podcast. Live right here on the YouTube channel. Hopefully everyone's having a fantastic Friday night. My name is Cole Bruce CJ Poirier, and I'm always joined by the lovely Joe the Bean, who does draw. Joe, how are you doing tonight?
Was I supposed to walk in to the mic from the other side of the room like you did, or was
Just like
was that was it, yeah was I?
no, I was leaning
No?
in because
Oh,
no, you're good.
okay.
You're good. I had to lean in because I'm controlling the audio through my Go XLR. So whenever I'm leaning in, also, I guess people in the podcast who it may only listen to the podcast might not know exactly why I might be sounding a little different. Maybe I'll talk about that later. But yeah, since I have to lean forward on my desk to adjust my Go XLR because of.
Well, why don't you? Isn't it because of your hip and such and how you're bedridden right now?
Yes. Oh, we're
Yeah.
incredibly quiet. Okay.
Oh, we are. Oh, all right. I don't know any of the technical stuff right now. I'm just kind of that's all.
Yeah. So chat, you get to hold us accountable, and specifically me because I'm terrible at this.
Yeah,
Also,
I'm just here.
I only edit the podcast. I swear. But Joe, how has your Friday been?
Good. It's been a Friday.
That is good.
I had a sandwich, had some ice cream, and I
Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah.
yeah.
Well, hang on. What kind of ice cream?
It was Ben and Jerry's. I eat Ben and Jerry's because it's really good. But also another thing, CJ, why did you manually take my icon and make it a PNG when I could have just done that for you?
Listen.
Look, I'm not trying to say that you did something wrong. I'm just saying you could have just asked me and I would have done it for you. I saw you tweet out the promotional video and I just I mean the promotional photo, and I'm just saying wait, why did you do that? Why did you go through the effort of removing the background and everything when I could have just done it for you?
Because, Joe, it allows me to use Photoshop more.
I mean,
my totally legal
yeah,
copy of
really.
Photoshop. My totally legal copy of Photoshop.
Wait, you guys actually pay for your Adobe products? I thought it was just a joke.
Yeah, I pay for my Adobe product. Very heavy quotations. Don't fucking say anything. Don't fucking say anything. But well, here's the question: what Ben and Jerry's flavor? What Ben and Jerry's flavor?
I didn't actually grab it myself. My sister grabbed it for me.
Okay.
The other day, but it was brownie batter core. You know, it's like
Yes.
chocolate. It's half switch chocolate and this vanilla brownie, and there's a brownie batter center. It was
Dude,
good.
The
I mean,
core.
I personally would have gone for something else, but I mean, I do like it.
People sleep on the Ben and Jerry core flavors. They really
I personally
do.
I think the caramel core just feels better because the
the caramel
easier.
citra one. That's my favorite. Caramel citra is my fucking favorite. But the problem is it's I don't know if it's just a Michigan thing, but it's very rare to find it in stores. It's very rare. The only places I've been able to see it, and it's not, keep in mind, it's not a retailer exclusive, but I've always seen it at CVS. It's always at CVS where I see it and nowhere else. And I'm like, I don't want to go to CVS. The thing is I don't hate CVS. I just feel inconvenienced going to CVS.
Because it's mostly a pharmacy place. You're not really gonna go there to get your groceries. At least from what I know. I know I have a okay, nearby me there's a CVS, but much closer is a QFC. So it's I really have no need to go to CVS.
Right. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. I don't know. Chat, you tell us what your favorite Ben and Jerry's flavors are. We are gonna be I should say we are, your favorite Ben and Jerry ice creams are. We will be talking to the chat for a good portion of the stream today as well.
It's live, so
yeah, because it's live. we're doing this live. It's weird doing this live, quite honestly. Because, like, I'm normally the type of person, like, because, of course, like, I do, like, visual live streams. Very rarely do I do audio live streams. So this is a whole new playground for me.
Wait. CJ, you know what you can do for me? You know what you can do?
What can I do
to make this a visual stream, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here, throw this up on screen.
Throw what up? Hang on. Did you DM it to me or did you?
I put it in the chat.
Okay. Let me see. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll throw that up on there. We have some empty space. Yeah, I'll. See
yeah, exactly. We have some void space. You can throw that up there, and it'll get the job done.
Okay, there we go. I was gonna say, like, wait, can I even download this? I have to.
You know what? It'll be great once you guys can see it. It'll be well worth the wait.
The thing is, since we're gonna be ripping the audio from the stream to Anchor, and it's gonna go on Spotify and all that, it's
well, I'll describe it once it's up on screen. Oh.
There we go.
Once it's up on screen, I'll describe it.
There it is.
It's just See, there we go.
There we go.
Yep, it's just
that works.
Yeah, that works. He's just fallen over. It's because he had too much gaming news to talk about.
We have I don't know what happened. Like, in between when we recorded the last episode, which, by the way, I'm very sorry that episode got out so late. That was completely my fault for getting the episode out.
That's understandable. You're bedridden. Your leg is messed up. Like, it's fine.
But
don't apologize.
But essentially, this is gonna be this month's episode. Consider this like a bonus episode, I guess. But we're treating it as a regular episode but it's a bonus because it's live. That makes it special. That makes it very unique.
Well, that would just be a special episode then, not a bonus episode.
I mean, tomato, special bonus. Right. Game of the Year edition, definitive edition. It's all the same.
All right.
Oh god.
Well, let's get on. So
yes.
Pokemon.
Yeah, so let's start with Pokemon.
I cannot really care much about Pokemon, but I mean, like, it looks fine.
Yeah, so Pokemon decided to, I guess, in the vein of like Nintendo deciding, yeah, we'll do an actual direct. They decided to drop a presentation completely about Gen 4. Essentially, except for new Pokemon Snap, which actually got more gameplay footage, which looks alright. Like, it's Pokemon Snap.
Pokemon Snap. Like, you really can't fail. You really can't mess up Pokemon Snap.
I will say, it disappoints me that Pokemon Snap looks infinitely better than Sword and Shield.
Well, okay.
Then again, Sword and Shield is like the first Pokemon, like mainline Pokemon game on the Switch.
True, but at the same time, another thing I noticed a lot of is that, especially with the newer games and such, they've been outsourcing to different studios now, which I think is a little bit better for the Pokemon series. Something like Pokemon Snap, I believe, is being completely developed by Bandai Namco.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
That makes sense. It looks really good, especially because I think Pokemon Snap, it's one of those franchises or like spin-off titles that Pokemon fans have been begging for a long time. And now it comes out. God, I work at GameStop. I should know this. I think it comes out like 2 months? Or is it March? It's one of the two. It either comes out in April or March. But man, am I gonna get it though? Probably not. Quite honestly. Because I here's my main issue with Pokemon spin-off titles. It's always like every time there's a new Pokemon spin-off title, they go through all the effort of like, here's a new region with a new professor with all these new things and like establishing a new part of the world. And it's like, you gotta understand, you can only do that so many times before it gets super convoluted as fuck.
Oh yeah, because of like geography.
Yeah.
geography and such. Yeah.
Because, like, if I'm supposed to believe that, like, the Pokemon world is, like, the same as Earth, and it's like, man, how does it,
I guess
how does it work? Like, what?
it also brings the question when you think of like new when you think of like all new Pokemon, it's like sure, yeah, it makes sense that they wouldn't be in the previous games. It's also like why aren't these just in the how come these Pokemon are exclusive to this region or something? You know that?
Yeah.
It's like when new Pokemon are like, wow, it's a new Pokemon exclusive to this region. They live here and here only. And then the next game, it's like, oh yeah, they're also here. Along with these new Pokemon, they're exclusive to this region. And then it's like the cycle will just continue.
Yeah. It's fucking Pokemon spin-off games are
Except for
weird.
Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Yeah, except for Sword and Shield. You had to pay for that shit. You want more of your favorite Pokemon to come back, but not all of your favorite Pokemon to come back? You had to pay for that shit. That's yeah.
I will say, like I can understand cutting Pokemon, but like
yeah,
it should have been added back in a free update, especially considering that modders were able. I think modders actually found like source code for like the original um starters that weren't used. All you had to do was just import their model from the 3DS game, upres it a bit, and Bop, you basically had Ivysaur and Squirtle back in Sword and Shield.
yeah. I don't know.
Like,
I feel like I do agree. It should have been just a straight up free update.
anyways, those are the old games. Let's talk about the new games. The open world.
Yeah.
Let's say Breath of the Wild. The
Is
open
it
world.
what is it? Pokemon Legends.
Pokemon Legends. Yeah, who cares?
Arceus?
It's Pokemon Legends, Arceus, whatever. Looks fun. It looks different, even though it's turn based. It looks different enough, and I think
the
that
art style is weird to me.
yeah,
Because they're trying to go for like they're trying to go for like a watercolor aesthetic. I'm pretty sure, or like a very similar aesthetic, but like in the footage, it just ends up looking kind of grainy in a way.
Yeah.
But I mean, I give them credit. At least it's something different, and I
Oh
do
yeah,
like
totally.
the idea of them going for a proper like fully open world game. The wild area had potential in Sword and Shield, but I don't think they really capitalized on it. But with this one, it looks like they're really going full force into the open world aspect, and I do like that. I like that a
Yeah.
lot.
Though at the same time, I've heard stuff going back and forth. Like I haven't been able to see it because I'm not too sure if it's like clearly defined yet or not. But I've heard some stuff going around that that game is being outsourced as well, much like new Pokemon Snap. Meanwhile, the mainline, I mean, the newer games such as like the new Diamond and Pearl
Yeah.
remakes are being done in house.
Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. What names?
I mean, okay, let's be honest here. What else were you gonna call them?
Could have carried on the Let's Go moniker. Except like you could if and here's the thing, I don't hate that they're doing like they've been doing like generation remakes from like all the way up for each console, but I think my main issue is like every time that they do a full remake, they adapt the art style from the game that they're remaking to that current art style.
Mm-hmm.
But I see Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. I'm like, man, they're going into a completely. They're trying to keep that DS like 2D aesthetic, but also add like a chibi 3D like Link's Awakening.
Okay, the thing
Switch.
is, like, basically the world design. They're still keeping the world design as the grid-based system, the grid-based world design from the DS game.
Yeah.
Even when you look at the world, it's very grid-based. They didn't really adapt the world to look organic in essence, more kind of shapen. Like, it's still blocky, rough edges, perfectly aligned trees, and all that.
I feel like it would have been cool to
the models themselves are different. 3D adaptations of the in-game sprites, right?
Yeah. I don't know how I
I
necessarily feel about it though.
I understand the thought process behind it, and I understand some people might not like how they look. I think it looks all right. I mean, again, I'm not too big on Pokemon, but I mean, it looks fine. I
Yeah,
think personally, I think the models look all right. I think my main gripe is the coloring and lighting. Like, how to put it? They
that's
have this. They're going for the same toy look, kinda, like
yeah.
kind of the same chibi toy look as Link's Awakening, but Link's Awakening looked great because of its lighting and bit of its texturing and detail.
And it
I
also
feel
had a
like,
very it had a very distinct art style.
yeah, I feel like this is just kind of lacking that a little bit.
It
I mean, hopefully it can get ironed out.
I have a
We
I
set
just
up for Sword
realized
and Shield.
it's very much reminds me of, or makes me think of what a mobile, like a current mobile game version of these games would look like
Mhm.
if they were to do a mobile port, like I guess something sort of like what we'll talk about later with with all of the Final Fantasy VII shit that they
Do you?
announced.
Oh!
There's so
You know about
much.
that one?
There's
Oh,
so much Final Fantasy VII shit. Oh my god.
yeah.
Um,
I didn't know if you knew about it.
yeah,
We'll talk about
it's
it
it
later.
it looks like it looks like that in a way with like the mobile
Yeah,
Final Fantasy VII update or rematch. I don't even know. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. I will say the biggest thing I hate about this are the logos. I fucking despise the logos so much. I hate them so much. The one thing it seems like Pokemon struggles with, like the newer Pokemon games struggle with, are the
graphic
logos,
design.
are the logo
Graphic
designs.
design is my
Every
passion.
time, like, cause like like Shining Pearl looks like I can forgive the Shining Pearl logo. Brilliant Diamond looks fucking horrendous because it's that because they just do the text under like behind this fucking crazy texture based like block that's like this diamond texture, and it just looks, the spacing is weird between all of them. It looks
Mm.
off with how it's keeping the rounded look, like the rounded curve look. I want to punch every person who designs these Pokemon game logos because you
Or
could
what
do
about
better.
remember the Sword and Shield box art where it's just the legendary Pokemon on a white background?
Yeah,
It's not even like 3D World's background where it's just like against like
it's like a
what
full
looks like.
render.
Well, I mean, like, okay, people always like to go to 3D World and be like, ah, it looks like a PNG, like a default PNG background. But I mean, like, it looks nice. Like, it's not squares, it's circles, and it looks kind of nice with like a pseudo checkerboard feel to it.
Yeah. I will say, when did. I mean, okay. Here's the question that I have. Because
Yeah.
now that we're getting these remakes more frequently, these generation remakes more frequently, because the last ones that came out were Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire on the 3DS,
Yeah.
right? And that
Mhm.
was 2018? Or was it
I don't know.
17? It was either 17 or 18. And
Mhm.
and now we're getting another remake in 2021. I'm very curious at how, if now that we have the Switch hardware, now that we're like fully into the Switch life cycle, that we're
Mhm.
gonna get these remakes more frequently. I'm scared of what Generation 7's gonna look like. Because Gen 5. Because Gen 5 is that's my Pokemon Gen. Black and
Mhm.
white. And then that raises the question, is it going to be like a definitive edition with black? Are they going to take the content from Black and White 2 and put it in with Black and White 1? Or are they going to keep them separate? Are they going to make
Oh,
two remake? Like, I don't know. That makes me
yeah.
scared.
Also, actually, one thing real quick, I want to preface.
Mm,
The only Pokemon game I've actually played to completion, or really the only Pokemon I played, is Pokemon Emerald.
that's fair.
And also, another thing I want to say, I've seen a lot of back and forth on the style of the new remake, and personally, I think, and a lot of other people think, I mean, they said it kind of differently, but I think the Pokemon remake. So you know how they're making the world all grid based to be as true to like the DS kind of original, right?
Yeah.
You know what they should have done?
What?
They should have done 2D animated sprites on a 3D plane. Think kind of Paper Mario, how it's like I mentioned this on my Twitter, but like I'm just gonna go over
Like an
you know,
Octopath Traveler.
yeah, Octopath Traveler. Like you could think sprites with fancy lighting, 2D character sprites over a 3D world. That would have been really cool and visually pleasing, but we didn't really get any of that.
Yeah, that's. I don't know. I feel like my main issue is like, here's my, I guess my other main issue. I say I only have one big issue when I actually have multiple. I worry about the price. Because it seems like Nintendo.
They're gonna charge 60. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be 60. It's absolutely gonna be $60, and I think that's my main issue. And it seems like that's something that it's not even just a Pokemon Company issue at this point. It's now just a Nintendo as a publisher issue. Because Nintendo has like especially with the Direct, just last week. Which I don't know. Do we want to talk about the Direct?
Let's cover it real quick.
We'll cover it real quick.
Yeah, let's cover it real quick. Pyra, Martha for Smash. It's just okay, honestly. Like it's a bit of a lack. I mean, for me, it was just a little disappointing to see that at first, but it's like, whatever.
Yeah.
Also, there's a really big leak that came out, so I'm actually kind of looking forward to it because so there was a leak of the Nintendo Orchestra, like of a Nintendo Orchestra they're planning for Smash Ultimate in the year 2022, right?
Yeah.
And apparently they're gonna have music for every single fighter, right? And this leak came out in January, and on the very bottom of the list of songs, it had Counterattack from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, right?
Yeah.
This was before Pyra and Martha came out. Mythra? I don't know.
Mythra,
It was before they came out, and also Counterattack from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. That song isn't in Smash currently. So the idea is with the leak and how the leak could get stronger. Other than like predicting there was going to be a Xenoblade 2 rep, it would get even stronger if that particular song got in, because from that list, the last 2 songs on that list, one of them was Insanity Island, which is Crash Bandicoot, and then afterwards is, I've got the name of the song, but it's a Monster Hunter character.
I'd be down for Monster Hunter.
So that would mean the last 2 DLC characters based off this leak, and if it's true or not, or leading up to be true or not, it would be Crash and a Monster Hunter rep. Which
I'm surprised Monster Hunter hasn't happened sooner. Considering the working relationship that Nintendo has with,
or just the fact that Rathalos is already in the game, they kind of already have. They already essentially have a stage with Rathalos' boss fight. All you really have to do is just adapt that, really.
Yeah. It's very interesting. I mean, I'm not upset with Pyra and Mythra. I know Sakurai said even from the beginning of like Fighter, and this is something I went into with on Twitter as well. Like even in Fighter Pass 1, like the pre-order bonus was Rex as a Mii costume, and he even said like he wanted to get a Xenoblade 2 character in, but just didn't have the time. So I figured it was only a matter of time, but I think it's been so long that everyone kind of forgot. So this was
but that's true. Also, one thing, I kind of find it odd that they didn't actually add Rex.
I mean, I'm not upset.
I mean, like, I understand.
I'm not upset that they didn't add Rex.
I'm not really upset. I mean, I don't really care much, but it's like at the same time, it's like that feels a little bit weird, but it's like I kind of understand it a bit, so that's whatever.
I feel like if they added Rex would just be another generic sword fighter. At least Pyra, you have the ability to switch between Pyra form and Mythra, and then you have different abilities based on which form you switch into. So there's that, and this is my biggest gripe with people who are like, oh, it's another anime sword fighter character. Fuck this shit. It's like every time that they add a sword fighter character, they at least add something different and unique to separate them. Like the original like Fire Emblem characters, like sure, when it comes to like Ike and Marth, a lot of it just comes down to like weight. Their core difference is like weight. But when you get to
Yeah.
characters like Byleth,
Sephiroth versus
yeah,
Pyra.
yeah, Sephiroth, Byleth, even to an extent, I would say like Cloud, like all those,
Mhm.
yeah, they are anime sword fighters, but they all have different and unique attributes. Even Shulk, they all have unique
Yeah.
attributes that make them not just an anime sword fighter, but add a different element of strategy and make them really fun to play. And I think people just need to get over the fact that it's anime sword fighter and just instead think about, oh, what kind of matchups could we have and what sort of potential. But then again, that's me on my soapbox. I
Yeah.
don't play Smash anymore, so
I mean, if I'm being like, okay, as someone who is actively playing Smash, if anything, it's like, you get that kind of initial like, ugh, all right, you
just
get
like,
over it.
yeah.
And also another thing, I think a more valid and understandable, rather than be like, oh, it's another anime sword fighter. I think a more valid and kind of understandable is just like where I'm coming from. It's more like, okay, it's another sword fighter in a row. We just got Sephiroth, and now we're getting another one.
Yeah.
That kind of bit of, not really fatigue, but just kind of like, oh,
Just want something
boy,
different.
yeah, you want some like a little bit of like a mix, because like when you look at Fighter Pass 1, you got Joker, and it was followed by a different type of character with Hero, which was different.
Yeah.
Then
Also, also
Banjo. There was a bit of an initial variety, but now we're
yeah.
getting like two sword fighters back to back, and it's like, all right, fine, whatever.
Also, can we just I want to make a statement real quick.
Hmm.
People who keep expecting that every Smash character that gets added in is going to immediately be a third-party character, stop. Because it's not it's you started with a Nintendo original
I
with
mean,
this
the
last
only
pass with
yeah,
Min Min. Then you had two back-to-back third-party reps. It
mhm.
would make sense to at least have another original, like another first-party character,
Yeah,
instead of it just because like while the DLC is like predominantly known for being third-party reps, like obviously, and those
I
are the
think it
people
only really
who
extended to the first pass, because I like that ideology was only for it's like when you look at the first pass in retrospect, it was
it,
all third parties up until Byleth at the very end. So I mean, like, I think that was the only time where that idea made sense of
yeah.
just all third parties.
Yeah, but Nintendo does have like a large history of and roster of characters that they could pull. So, and
Oh yeah,
especially with Xenoblade, I'm surprised it took them this long to get another Xenoblade character in, quite honestly.
yeah.
But okay, what else was big in the direct? Fall Guys is coming to Switch. Also got announced same day that it's coming to Xbox. So it looks like we're
Oh,
finally gonna get full
okay.
console crossplay.
Actually, real quick,
Yeah.
the funny. I remember the funniest thing about Fall Guys. It was the very second Fall Guys ended. It cut to the trailer of, I think it's the Outer Wilds or the
Yeah.
Outer Woods.
Outer Wilds.
It's
Yeah.
like Fall Guys comes to the Nintendo Switch later this year. The solar system is going to explode in
Explode.
22 minutes.
It's great.
That was
Outer
funny.
Wilds is a fucking great game. If you've never
Mhm.
played Outer
Um,
Wilds, play it. It is a fucking great time. Especially if
Also,
you're a sucker for not only just space exploration but explorative storytelling, where you get pieces as you go throughout the world.
one thing I was a little bit surprised they didn't mention in the Switch, considering like the port of it was announced a few days prior.
Mm.
Was the Crash 4 port? So I
Yeah.
expected it to at least be in the montage segment, especially since they announced Apex in the same kind of like montage, which came out like 3 days. And yeah, it's like Crash bias, but I mean, some gameplay of it was released by the press, and it looks really damn good on the Switch, honestly.
Yeah, it does look good. I
Yeah,
know they gave it like a full trailer, like a
yeah.
couple days
Here,
before on the Nintendo YouTube channel, but
here, if you want, CJ, you can just skim through that footage. I got a timestamp and everything on that for you. I sent it in the channel. If you want to take a quick little glaze, but basically,
yeah.
they managed to get the game looking pretty sharp, honestly,
And
and it's run.
it's not Panic
It,
Button that's doing the port, is it?
no, it's Toys for Bob themselves, the same people who
Gotcha.
initially developed the game. Yeah, And the thing is, they developed they reworked the game from the ground up for the Switch port. It runs at 30 FPS. It works at like a smooth 30 FPS. I think it was like 720p handheld, 180 docked.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they actually reworked like the lighting engine and the textures to work better on the Switch.
And I think that's pretty much the only thing you really can do. It's like, especially to make a game like that, which is very visually like bright and colorful. To adjust the lighting is probably going to be the best way to save not only save resources but also make it run a lot better.
Yeah.
What else was there? They talked about more about Monster Hunter Rise. We're just gonna skip through some of like the smaller stuff, like Famicom Detective Club, which that looks great, but also it's $35 for each version for both for each game, and it's the first two, so $70 for these from the ground up. Fair enough, from the ground up remakes of these NES like Super Famicom original Famicom games.
How long were they originally?
I have no idea.
Oh,
I've never played them. Monster Hunter Rise, we got more gameplay. They also showed off.
Monster Hunter Rise is also going to be coming to PC. That was actually just announced today.
Yeah, and then they also have the special edition Switch. This is my main issue now that the Super Mario Switch is out. The Monster Hunter Switch does look kind of lame in comparison. Because it's just another gray Switch with little prints on it on the Joy-Cons and the dock, and it's like, ooh, cool. Could have done something a little more. Could have maybe colored it a little, but oh well. And then they followed up with the best announcement of the entire direct, and that's Super Mario. Mario Golf's back, baby!
Oh my god! Like, woo! Okay, you were in there when I was watching it with others, but like Mario, like the second Mario Golf came on, I literally was like, yeah, Mario Golf!
Dude, Mario Golf, I am so pumped because I think what was it? Toadstool Tour was the last. No, it was the last console one. But the last Mario Golf was, I believe, on the 3DS?
Yeah, it was on the 3DS World Tour.
Yeah, which is like, that's a fair enough time away, and it looks really good. I like the speed golf mode where it's just everyone's rushing to try to get.
Yeah, like at first, like even though like I had like that jokingly like high scream for Mario Golf, like at first I was like, looks all right, and then they show off like, because like Mario Tennis Aces was just kind of felt like regular kind of golf, didn't really feel much like a real Mario Tennis game. But the second they showed off the speed golf, I was like,
ooh, here we go.
I was like, ooh,
this looks delicious.
Yes.
This one didn't seem like a huge thing at first, but it's Stubbs the Zombie. Gets a Switch port. That's an original Xbox title, which I think is the most interesting thing about it. It's like, if we start seeing more original Xbox titles on Switch, I'll be very curious. It took them so long, but No More Heroes 3 finally got a release date. It took them 3 years since they announced it. But it's finally got a release date in August. Yay! It's going to be a very late birthday gift for myself. I love Travis Touchdown. I think the No More Hero games are fucking so much fun. I'm very curious to see how well it is on Switch. It looks like from the gameplay, it looks all right, but I'm more sold on the story. I think the biggest WTF from the direct was the DC superhero girls Teen Power game.
Okay,
what? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
When I was streaming that and watching with others, I muted the stream during that part because I just couldn't handle hearing the voice.
You couldn't handle hearing Tara Strong.
No, it was just like, Tara Strong does some good voice acting roles, but it's just like that kind of voice is just too ear grating for me. I just can't handle it. So I literally like, I literally just like muted the stream. I'm like, we're not listening to this. I'm sorry, but I cannot stand this voice.
The nicest thing I can say about it is at least it does a decent job at trying to keep the art style of the source like material. But man, this is a Nintendo developed game. This is a Nintendo developed and published game. That hurts. That but I mean oh that's rough. That's rough.
Yeah.
Let's see what else is there. Miitopia. What a fucking shocking port to come over to this Switch. I think I would have much preferred Tamagotchi Life, but Miitopia is a good pull because it's just like a funny RPG game. It costs way too much though. It costs way too much though, because I'm pretty sure it's $50.
Yeah, it is. It's only $10 more than the original though.
Yeah, which is like I would have.
I can kind of understand it because they did put some effort adding new content and upgrading like in the original 3DS, but at the same time, it's also understandable that they should just probably keep it at the same price, considering that it's still the same game for the most part.
Yeah. Octopath Traveler, not sequel, but spiritual successor. Yes, Project Triangle Strategy. Where if we learned anything from Octopath Traveler, that's also going to be the final title of the game.
Also, real quick, you know what? Let me just say this: we're gonna end up this direct talk with this. If you are a fan of JRPGs, you were probably very excited direct. If you were a fan of kind of anything else, yeah, it was
oh god. Uh-oh. Oh, Joe. Joe. Oh no. Joe. Oh no. Are we back? No. No. Fuck. Joe, are you okay? Joe. Fuck. You okay, Joe? My boy, are you back?
Hello. Fuck me. I need this.
Jogo. Chat just says Jogo Burr.
Wait, did you hear anything I just said about Splatoon 3?
The JRPG fans were immediately pissed off at you. And so they just decided to DDoS you.
They put a hex on me.
Crack an egg into the milk and see if it starts spurting out blood. Quick.
I don't have any eggs.
Splatoon 3. Yeah. Let's talk about that as also.
Yeah. Splatoon.
Okay.
Well, okay. I was just gonna summarize it real quick. Splatoon 3 looks cool. Pearl single-handedly destroyed all of France. They even as a mark of insult to injury, they flipped the entire fucking Eiffel Tower upside down.
Just as like a fuck you to France. France specifically. Yeah. Why France specifically? Why is it gotta be France?
Pearl doesn't like France. This is the canon fact now. She just doesn't like. Don't ask questions, CJ. She just doesn't like France.
I'm not the biggest fan of Escargot either, but I don't go flipping off the Eiffel Tower because of it.
No, not flipping off the Eiffel Tower. Flipping the Eiffel Tower. It is literally upside down.
But I was so psyched for Skyward Sword HD. It's about time they released it. Joy-Cons look pretty cool. I don't think $60 is a fair price. I think 45 at most. I think $45 is good. But go ahead. Sorry.
I think Skyward Sword looks all right.
It looks good.
Sure, people aren't the most happiest because it's Skyward Sword, but I mean, hey, at least it's somewhat playable with a joystick now.
Yeah.
And I will say, I think another thing is.
No, not again.
I think shows Skyward Sword
No, not again, Joe. No. Not again.
Wait, no, wait, am I back? Am I back?
It sounds like you're back.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe
right.
maybe if we stop talking about the Nintendo Direct, you'll be
Yeah, it's cursing us. It's cursing.
Okay.
All right, Fortnite.
Fortnite.
Okay, actually, no. The Fortnite section was just very brief. All I really wanted to talk about was they added the Xenomorph and such, and from Alien. But other than seeing a Xenomorph,
also they added Ryu and Chun-Li.
Oh yeah.
And Ryu, poor Ryu.
Ryu's smile on the loading screen. That's great.
I flash back.
Okay,
I flash back to like something that I want to say it was like the original designer of Street Fighter said when he was doing an interview when they were talking about like the design aspect, how they go about designing like the characters in each of the games. And I think the quote was like, I want my characters to be recognizable and treated with respect, just based on like their silhouette alone, like the design of like their silhouette. I could be completely butchering that quote, but seeing fucking Ryu default dance in Fortnite, that's like, oof.
Okay, I mean, like, okay, let me put it this way. I think the designs are alright, you know?
Yeah, Chun-Li looks fucking great, though.
Yeah, like, their designs look good, but, like, come on.
Like,
you cannot say that you did not enjoy seeing Ryu and Chun-Li default dancer to the Harlem Shake. You are lying to yourself if you don't think that was fun.
I think it's funny. I think it was funny for, like, a little bit, but then it's just...
I mean, like, honestly, it's like, you really can't care much. It's just like it's nothing that bad, you know?
I think this is like exactly what we were talking about last time, where it's like Fortnite has fuck you money. And it's like it's just like, oh, you like this franchise? Fuck you. We're putting it in Fortnite.
Yeah. And you know gamers will be like, no, they ruined the series for me because they added
Well, here's the question now. I want to ask you, Joe. We're gonna play psychic here.
If you're gonna repeat my question that I told you before we fucking started, and you're gonna steal it, saying it was your idea,
no. What I want you to predict what you think the next like big franchise that's gonna get into Fortnite is. What do you think it's gonna be?
Family Guy.
You want? Oh, of course it's Family Guy because of the files. Yes, please explain to people if they haven't heard about this.
Yes. Okay, if you haven't heard, they found a bunch of Family Guy related textures within the code of Fortnite for an unused backpack. And my question is it still in the game? Because there was a new update with the Xenomorph skins and all that. So my question is the Family Guy assets still in the game? Are they still there? Because if they're still there, that means it's likely they weren't just test textures and they were probably going to be a real collaboration. If I know one thing, whenever like a developer has code like that gets remained between updates, it's likely something's going to happen.
I think my main worry is like, normally my argument would be I don't think Family Guy or like insert franchise here would work in a setting like Fortnite. But at this point, I don't think it fucking matters anymore. Because once again, Fortnite has fuck you money and they can just do whatever they want. I think if I had to guess what franchise, I would not be surprised if they go in the same route as fucking Street Fighter and they add Mortal Kombat. Like Scorpion and Sub-Zero into Fortnite. Or if they're going to keep going with like the like I guess pop like film icons route that they've been going on with like Predator and Xenomorph, we could see
Fortnite is going to be going on a pseudo family friendly path, What I mean by that is like they're going to add in Okay, what I mean is like when I mean pseudo family friendly, like sure, yeah. Alien is an R-rated movie and all that, but they don't really have like a heavy like violent connotation as much. So what I mean is, like, I feel like they're much rather gonna add something like, I wouldn't say they wouldn't add Mortal Kombat, but I feel like Mortal Kombat would be one of those things a little bit later down the line, you know?
At
I
this
don't know.
point, I feel like if they're gonna start, because like I think they called like Ryu and Chun Li as part of like an arcade classics collection.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
Oh,
so it's like it's sort of like a. It makes me think it's gonna be like sort of
wait a minute.
like a blanket category. I
Yeah.
think. I will say, Alien doesn't look terrible. The Alien like model doesn't look bad.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
Ripley one looks fucking weird because it doesn't so much look like the actress, and I think this is my main issue. When you get a licensed character that's supposed to be a human being, trying to convert it to the Fortnite like art style can be very hit or miss.
Yeah.
Like character
Also,
perfect example, Ryu looks weird as fuck, but Chun-Li looks really good.
Also, another thing, real quick, Joey, I have seen Alien. Yes, I know it's violent. I know it's an R-rated movie. I'm just saying how
It's also, I will say, it is also very interesting because they announced that there are like FX, which is like a subsidiary of Fox Television, which is owned by Disney. They're doing an Alien TV series exclusively on FX as part of their new like original programming when Disney was doing like their conference like this last December. So maybe there's like, since they have that renewed interest with that. Then again, if they were gonna do like a cross promotion sort of thing, it probably would have tied a little bit closer.
mhm. Also, do you actually know what just dropped on Disney Plus?
Flora and Ulysses?
I don't know what that is. I was gonna say Family Guy.
Oh. I mean,
You know what? They could cross promote with Family Guy in
they
Fortnite.
could. How much do you bet most of the Fortnite money is from Disney?
I'd say quite a lot, honestly.
Yeah, because you had like you have all the Marvel crossovers, you have the Star Wars crossovers. Like what major like Disney owned published like franchise hasn't crossed over with Fortnite yet? Indiana Jones? Because that's now technically a Disney property because it's a Lucasfilm.
I don't know.
Indiana Jones could honestly work in Fortnite. Why haven't they put Indiana Jones in Fortnite? There you go. There you go, Epic Games. There's your new pack. Get all the kids to learn about Indiana Jones. Make them watch Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, the best Indiana Jones movie.
Wait, isn't that the one with the scene where their faces get melted off?
No, that's the one with the Ark of the Covenant.
Oh, okay.
No, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull is with with the Pixar, not Pixar. Excuse me, with the lead-lined fridge and like Indy surviving the nuclear explosion by hiding in a fridge.
Oh.
Have you something Pixar related? That's true. I don't know. I feel like if they do something Pixar, it would go along with Joe with what you were saying about like a pseudo family friendly.
I was gonna say I was about to say they kind of did Pixar, but I realized it wasn't because you remember they did have a Wreck-It Ralph cross promotion where Ralph could be seen on like a theater.
Yeah, but that was just a trailer, wasn't it?
I mean, yeah, it wasn't actually
Ralph Breaks the Internet.
but yeah, but like I mean, like there was still something.
Yeah.
Anyways,
if they they did just release the trailer for Luca, which is the next Disney Pixar film. That could be interesting, especially if you were, because like Luca looks like a really good movie. Like aesthetically, it looks really nice. And then I guess if you were like to dive, like go swimming, you could transform into like their what is the word? Like I guess like aquatic form that they show off in the trailer. If you haven't seen the Luca trailer, it looks pretty good. Woody with a gun. Toy Story Woody with the gun, chugging
Oh
that
my
chug
oh my
jug.
what if his gun is a toy pop pistol? Like you know what I mean? A little cork gun.
Buzz Lightyear actually killing people with his little laser, with his little wrist-mounted laser. That would be a honest. There we go. That's actually I want it. I want Toy Story in Fortnite. Make it happen. But I want them to be accurately sized. I want to be very small, like an actual toy, running around in Fortnite, just like going pew 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 pew. That'd be funny as fuck. That would be so broken, but funny as fuck. Because then I could
Also-
die if someone steps on me, and so there's a new strategy there.
Or like you do chip, you basically do like very small amounts of chip damage. Like you can barely even see them, but you're like slowly getting your health chipped away, and you just can barely even tell what it is that's shooting you.
So I guess at the end of this Fortnite talk, it is pretty much Family Guy. We're predicting now. Family Guy will be the next Fortnite DLC.
Anyways,
What Lightning McQueen vehicle? Yo, every time you start up the engine, it goes ka-chow. You get you get Owen Wilson just to
imagine if you get hit in the car and he goes ka-chow. like more emphasis on the ow. Ka-chow.
That's fantastic.
Anyways,
I guess before we head into Bowser's Fury, because it seems like whenever we talk about Nintendo stuff, we always we've been at least cursed so far.
No, it's only the JRPG fans that are after my blood.
I mean, it also happened when you were talking about Splatoon 3, so I don't know. It could just be Nintendo talk in general. We'll see.
So.
We'll see.
I don't think so. I mean, I was talking about Pokemon just fine.
Yeah, that's true.
I think, again, I think it was just a temporary curse from the JRPG
just a curse.
fans. Yeah.
Just a temporary curse.
CJ, they're out for my blood. You gotta help me.
I mean, I'd rather talk about PlayStation State of Play, which happened yesterday. Some big stuff got announced. We talked about Crash Bandicoot 4. Crash Bandicoot's getting a PS5 upgrade, which is awesome.
Yeah, the PS5 upgrade looks really good. And also, can I tell you, well, I'm probably not going to be getting the Switch version or the PS5 version, probably going to get the PC version down the line. I will say, one thing I am very excited for that was noticeable in the gameplay is that they're releasing a major patch along with these ports, which is something I am so happy for. Mostly because I wouldn't say the game's broken or needed a patch like that much, but it's just like I feel like certain things could have been rubbed out.
It's a quality of life update.
Quality of life. Okay, let me just say. So they're the animal buddies, right?
Yeah.
There's Polar and Schnurgle, right? And you ride them around in the levels that they're in, but the problem with them was they controlled well, but the thing is their hitboxes were so damn small, so hitting crates was a pain in the ass. Not to mention, they were essentially an auto-running segment, so if you miss a crate, you just have to die and restart, which sucks when a large chunk of the game's completion is focused on not dying at all for the insanely perfect relics.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's hard to and sure, it's only 2 out of the many levels, but it's like there's a few other little gripes. Like mostly, I think the main gripe people have with completion are a few crates seem to be put in some very dickish spots where you can barely see them, or even not even see them at all, while other things are kind of hidden in areas where, and there's this insanely perfect relics. Beat the level, get all the crates without dying once. You get the relic, right?
Yeah.
The problem is they don't have a quick restart kind of thing, because time trial relics have this. You run into the clock and everything in the level resets and it goes in time trial mode. When you die, you go back to the start of the level, right?
Yeah.
They don't have that for the insanely perfect relics, meaning if you die, you just have to pause the game, restart the level, which is a pain in the ass, especially with load times. So I hope they patched out, especially for the Switch version, because imagine trying to go for a one-shot kind of run like a one-shot perfect run, but you die and you have to wait like a whole minute to load back in because of Switch loading times, you know?
Yeah, that's.
I will say, like, again, it's they actually found something much similar to the clock for the Insanely Perfect Relic, so it seems it was more so just a cut feature for the sake of time. Hopefully, they could add it back in later, you know, in this new patch. And they seem to be taking effort. Like, I noticed they increased Polar's crate smashing hitbox immensely in that Switch gameplay, which was very, very nice to see.
Yeah. Let's see what else was like super.
Oh, hey, are you a fan of Final Fantasy VII? Do you want to play nothing more than Final Fantasy VII?
We'll get to
well,
Final.
good for you.
We'll
You
get
got
to
plenty
Final
of
Fantasy VII in just a second, because there's so much Final Fantasy stuff.
I came up with all that effort on the fucking spot, and you're just gonna push it away, and we're gonna talk about it later.
Because we gotta talk about Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach.
Oh my god.
I gotta say, I will say this. I've made this clear before. I am not the biggest Five Nights fan. I will defend the franchise, but I'm not avidly like, it's the greatest game ever made. I'm not, because it's not. I think it's very overhyped, in a way. Or, not even overhyped. I think it's very stale at this point.
Like, I think the thing is, people focus a lot more on the story and its lore aspects, while the gameplay has been just very bare bones, and they haven't really done much to them. Like, I will say the only game that I think, like, honestly, I think the prime way to play FNAF, from what I hear, is just doing the VR version.
Yeah,
that way it's more tense, a lot more.
It's actually different, and I think this is, and it's nice because with the newer Five Nights games, it seems like they're actually
experimenting.
They're actually trying new things. And so, of course, we knew about Security Breach. It got announced, I want to say, like, officially titled, like, last year, thanks to a Funko leak. Like, it was a Funko Pop leak. And now, like, a year later, we finally got gameplay footage. This is from the same team that did Help Wanted. And man, I gotta say, I was incredibly disappointed. Because the first thing, can you guess what was the first game that came to my mind when that trailer came up? Joe, can you guess?
Hello Neighbor.
Yes, Hello Neighbor. It looks very much like Hello Neighbor, where it's like a semi-open world exploration game. Also, it didn't help that I hope it was just like the footage and not like something going on with the footage and not the actual gameplay. But the fucking motion bobbing made it look like the game was chugging really hard. No, not even just the motion blur, because you're playing as the kid, so he's going like up and down.
You mean the bobbing of like the camera bobbing?
Yeah. Like, it looked like the game was chugging hard. And I'm like, also, this is a PS5. This is a PS5 exclusive, I'm pretty sure.
The lighting and the textures.
Yeah. Sometimes it looks okay, but in other spots, it looks terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It's very inconsistent.
I mean, I've also heard a bit of just, like, the fandom is apparently, like, pushing the team to show off more, and it's just kind of getting in the way of, or something like that. Also, another thing, Joey, don't even be surprised. Like, come on.
So Joey, Joey in the chat, the designs for the new game, scare me for what the fandom is going to do with them. I will say, animatronics wise, I'm not upset at them. I'm not upset at the new animatronic designs. Like, they actually look different. I believe they're called the Rockstar Animatronics, I believe is their actual name for them. And they don't look bad. It's very, like, it's thematically different, which I think is nice. I think the only game that we really got where something it was like thematically different or like design-wise was Sister Location. And I guess even to an extent, like Pizzeria Simulator with like the scrapped versions of the animatronics, but even then, a lot of those had like a core like basis. I guess it would also we're also discounting FNAF 4 as well because they're all like nightmare versions. But like I really like the almost like 80s style, like bright colors, tall, long limbs. Like they look really nice. Otherwise, I'm a little worried about this. Then again, this was the first like official gameplay trailer, so who knows? All it said was 2021. So we don't know when this game's coming out. I'm assuming that it's probably going to be more towards Halloween, maybe?
Maybe.
But I'm a little worried. I do appreciate that they're going in a different direction. And they're experimenting with a new, and like this sort of ties back to what I was saying earlier. It's like I'm not the biggest Five Nights fan, but I appreciate it when the creative team behind a game or a new entry, they're like, we're gonna try something different with it. We're gonna try to shake things up. It may not be like the same core like Five Nights formula that like people grew up like. I guess I can say grew up with, which fucking hurts to say. It's not like the same gameplay loop, but it adds something different to it, and I think that's something that brings a lot of people back. I'll be very curious. Even though I'm not the biggest FNAF fan, I will be keeping my eyes on this probably because I'm very curious to see where they go with it direction-wise. But you mentioned it. Final Fantasy VII had a field day. Final Fantasy. If you're a Final Fantasy, just like you said, if you're a Final Fantasy VII fan, holy shit, you had a fucking great day.
Yeah, yesterday. A field day, like you were frolicking in the. You were frolicking in the fountain where the funny scene happens with Sephiroth and Aerosmith. You know, you were in that water. You were like, when you saw what happened. I mean, like.
So it starts with like obvious is obvious. PlayStation 5 port, cool, looks great. Like Final Fantasy VII Remake already looked fantastic on PS4, and now with the PS5 upgrade, it looks even better. Then they have a new DLC episode starring Yuffie, who's one of the returning Final Fantasy characters. I believe it was just like something that was cut from or maybe I'm trying to remember what game she's from. I don't know if she's specifically from. Keep in mind, my Final Fantasy knowledge is very slim, but a new DLC content, story content. That's always cool. And then, like, that's pretty much what they talk about in just the state of play. There's so much more because the Final Fantasy Twitter account went off. Because then you also have Final Fantasy VII, the First Soldier, I think it's called? Or is it just Final Fantasy's First Soldier?
I don't know.
Which is
a battle royale.
It's a mobile battle royale game set in Final Fantasy VII.
It's coming out this year too, I believe. I mean, like, okay.
We did it! Every franchise is getting a battle royale game.
Oh my god, yeah.
It's about time. So
you know what? It's really funny you just said that because okay, a little off topic, but it's when you said about time, it's about time. Crash 4 is possibly going to be getting a big online game. It's been going around in leaks and stuff, and just like general hype around it. Wumpa League, as it's called. I'm gonna yeah. It's.
I hate.
Anyways, back to Final Fantasy. Okay. Yeah, Final Fantasy VII is getting a battle royale
mobile game. Kind of we should specify mobile game.
Only mobile. And another thing to note is that looking at the gameplay, it looks kind of like PUBG or like PUBG, but the gimmick is you could use the spells and the mana and such to like put up shields, high jump, shoot a fireball, which is all neat and cool stuff. So I mean, like,
yeah, okay, it's
not generic. It's neat that they found a way to incorporate Final Fantasy elements in a traditional kind of shooter style.
Yeah, so this
But at the
is
same time, how well is it going to control? It's a fucking mobile game.
yeah, so it's a mobile battle royale game. It's called Final Fantasy VII: The First Soldier. It is a prequel to Final Fantasy VII, as if we needed more prequels to Final Fantasy VII
Oh
already.
yeah, now you gotta play the battle royale for the.
You gotta play the battle royale game for the lore. Like, it looks like gameplay wise. Here's my issue: what phone is gonna be running a game like that with all those particle effects?
Probably like a more recent generation phone. Like I have a Galaxy S Note 10.
Right.
Probably like that.
Like you would have to have you would probably have to have one of those $1,000 smartphones.
I'd say if anything, your phone is probably gonna have to be like one from only like I'd probably say like 2019 onward.
Yeah. Cause damn, if you're gonna expect me to get like 60 FPS when you're throwing all these particle effects on my screen, no, that's gonna drain batteries so fast.
Oh yeah, of course.
And then we have, I think, which is the more exciting Final Fantasy VII mobile game, Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis.
That's just Final Fantasy remake, but it's just actual Final Fantasy, like the original Final Fantasy, and not the.
It's not even just that. So here's the thing. So it's Final Fantasy VII, but you're also getting, it's episodic, which is like, okay, great, another, because that's what they tried to do with Sonic the Hedgehog 4. It was a mobile game, but it was episodic, and they only put out one episode of it. This one, however, it's every single game, like Final Fantasy game, it's been remade, so it's, like you said, it's with the core like turn-based RPG combat of Final Fantasy. But you're also getting the story from every single game, or every single bit of story that ties directly into Final Fantasy VII. So it's not just Final Fantasy VII. You're also getting Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. You're getting Final Fantasy VII Before Crisis, Final Fantasy VII Crisis Court, and then I think it's Final Fantasy VII, is it Dance of Cerberus? I honestly don't remember, but you're getting all of those games. You're getting 5 games in one, released in episodic storytelling like format, but it's only on mobile devices. That is so weird, and it's coming out in 2022. So here's my issue: if you were gonna go something with as crazy as that, just like doing all Final Fantasy VII, like trying to get all of the story, all of the lore into one game, but releasing it like an updated format, why didn't you do that? Why don't you do that on console? Especially if you're going for a very specific art style. It's a very chibi art style.
Yeah.
But they have like full render, like when it gets to the turn-based, it goes more into like your Final Fantasy turn-based, but you'll have like full-sized models, very similar to like what the original Final Fantasy 7 did. But it's like, man, like this would work. This would sell like fucking hotcakes on consoles. But it's going to be on mobile, which I think it really inhibits what they could do with it. But then again, I could be wrong. I have been wrong before about many things.
They could do a surprise port, I guess.
Yeah, like even to Switch. I feel like this would go so well on Switch.
Oh, yeah.
And there'd be more hardware capabilities that they could work with. But then again, like smartphones are at this point now where like you can film 8K.
Yeah,
on
I think
smartphone.
my phone can actually display 4K. Meanwhile, my 2 big monitors are just regular, just standard definition.
Yeah, and so it's like, I mean, I guess it could work. We'll see. It just all depends how it comes out. But I mean, Final Fantasy VII, holy shit. Final Fantasy VII like we said, if you're a huge Final Fantasy VII fan, this is exactly what you've been waiting for.
Well, somewhat, because
Somewhat.
I was gonna say, because I've heard a little bit about how some fans are not happy how they're retconning story aspects.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean,
that's
like,
fair.
but that's understandable. That's only if you're really deep into the story, you know. So that's
Yeah,
understandable.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's really cool that people are even getting like this, like a game like this big is getting that much love. But then again, it comes down to like I think Square knows how much, like, how diehard a lot of their fans are, especially for Final Fantasy VII, and it's just like that draining as much nostalgia money out of their
Yeah.
fans as possible.
And before we wrap things up on the state of play, I will say Abe's World looks really
Oh yeah,
cool, and I
Odds World.
Oddworld, sorry, Oddworld, the
It
new
looks.
Oddworld looks really cool. And
I
let me just say,
Yeah, go for it.
I think my favorite gimmick that I've heard of with the controller is that it's gonna vibrate with Abe's heartbeat.
That's interesting.
That sounds that sounds like a really neat, like immersive kind of gimmick. It's like, it works in the story and all that.
Yeah.
But Abe's Odyssey, the new Abe's game. That's a remake, isn't it?
No, it's a brand new game.
Oh, brand new game. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Here's the problem I have. This is getting into like I trust me, I like Oddworld. It's not my favorite franchise, but I like the games. This is getting into like Dragon Quest 11S territory, like with the Nintendo Directs, where it's like like every direct we hear about Oddworld, and it's been going on for so long that it's like, okay, can you just release the game at this point? Just get it over with.
Just this time we actually just got the release date.
Yeah, we did finally get the release date, which is awesome. I'm very excited because I know like a lot of people, like especially some of like the diehard Oddworld fans, and probably for people who've never played an Oddworld game before, this is gonna be a great introduction for them. But man, it's been like this game has been talked about for like 2 years now, and it's been like trailer after trailer, and it's like, come on, just release the game. Now it's finally coming out, which is nice. And speaking of finally coming out, let's talk about Bowser's Fury. Super Mario 3D World, Bowser's Fury. Finally, it's finally out. We can finally talk about it. Joe, being our resident gamer, I did not pick up 3D World, but you did. So Joe, let's start off. What did you think of 3D World like as a port on Switch?
Okay. I would say as a port to Switch, I think this is the most worthwhile port to Switch.
Oh, I should ask as well. Did you end up doing the online multiplayer?
I have not had a chance to do online multiplayer as of yet. Okay. However, I have seen footage from other people, and it seems to work pretty smoothly.
Okay.
I will say. Yeah. The only problem I've seen with online, it's one of those online features where it mostly can crack based off other people's reception and all that, and also just depending on distance too, a little bit.
Yeah.
Like okay, like let's say in this case, because across the United States, that's probably good. But like across, like if I'm in the United States and I'm trying to across continental, I've heard has a little bit of lag, but it's still fairly good. It's not bad lag. It's just a little bit laggier. But I've seen it runs fairly smoothly, and even with the lag, it's not that bad. But oh man, where to start? Okay, so I guess I'm gonna break this up into two segments.
Yeah, let's start with 3D World, and then let's talk about
3D World. 3D World is good. 3D World is still a great game on its own, but what they've done to it, oh my god, what they've done to it in this new port, it's just okay.
Don't get too excited now, all right? I don't want to age restrict this podcast.
No, okay. First off, the gameplay speed has essentially been doubled. Characters move essentially twice as fast as they did before. The original 3D World was pretty slow. Like, okay, so we're seeing comparison video of characters walking and running to the first wall you could hit in the first level, right? In 3D World on Wii U, it took 9 seconds for Mario to hit the wall, just walking. Yeah, just walking. In 3D World on Switch, it took only 4 seconds. That's how much. Wait, actually, no. I think that was for running speed. Actually, for running speed.
Okay.
But like, that's how much faster it is. Like, and okay, Toad is the best character, hands down. Hands down, Toad is the best character because his gimmick. Because all the characters have specific gimmicks. Mario's the all-rounder. Toad's fast. Luigi jumps high. Peach hovers. Rosalina has a spin jump that goes away the very second you get any power up that isn't the super mushroom, and it is she's also the slowest character, so she's the worst one. So don't end of the story. Don't play Rosalina. Don't play Rosalina. I'm sorry. I like Rosalina. She's really fun when you don't have a mushroom. Her movement is super fun, but it's just she just can't do her spin jump if you have a power up, and it sucks. But
it's the worst.
But back to Toad. Toad is buttery smooth.
Toad smooth boy.
Okay. Toad, his running speed is just so fast. It's so much fun to just zip around. Not to mention, they added the greatest move from Odyssey into 3D World. The dive.
Okay.
The dive. Yep. You can dive. You can't roll, but like if you dive and you hit the ground, you'll do a little roll on the ground that you can hop out of.
Oh, but, okay.
And you can roll. I'm not too sure if it was on the original, but I know you can do it if you're on the ground and you input the dive, you'll do a slight roll, but you can roll out of that into a jump. So you essentially can do a rollout jump, right?
Yeah.
Which is just a better long jump, honestly. It goes a slightly lower vertically than the long jump, but honestly, it's so much faster and better to pull off than the long jump. You will never want to use the long jump ever. But another thing, yeah, so Toad is just the best character. The dive is just such a satisfying move now. It not only makes platforming fun, but it also can save you numerous times. But it can also, at the same time, mess you up. Because again, when you hit the ground, when you dive, you'll do a little roll on the ground if you dive from a short height. So that roll can mess you up if you don't hop out of it quickly and readjust yourself.
Right.
But just like ground pound jumping into wall jumping to diving, it's like imagine the fluid acrobatics of Mario Odyssey just without Cappy and the roll. That's what they did to 3D World.
Ah, got it.
Yeah. And a little bit more about 3D World. Again, I haven't had a chance to play online multiplayer. It looks very smooth. But in terms of new features, it's fairly short, but that's fine because we have the biggest new feature there is to be added to this, and that is Bowser's Fury. Bowser's Fury is amazing, but it also sucks because it is short. Not too short.
It's only like a couple hours.
Yeah, it's a couple hours. It's something that you'll finish and you'll be like, I want more!
Yeah, I've heard it's like a mix between like 3 to 4 hours.
Okay, so for my personal experience, it is roughly 4 hours for completion and then like another 4 hours for standard completion. Because they kind of did the Odyssey thing where it's like, oh, you technically beat the game at 50 cat shines, which are like the stars. So it's like, you get 50 cat shines, you fight Bowser, and then you return to the world and you have the option to play to get the rest of the cat shines. There's a total of 100 cat shines, and honestly, I would say this game, like, honestly, if you were to cut out all the middle ground of Mario 64, so, getting kicked out of the world when you collect a star and, hub world traveling, I would say this game is about the length of Mario 64 if there were no level booting or overworld navigation.
It's just
because
it feels like it's a very like compact title.
Yeah,
like edition.
Yeah, it is. because you are essentially in one giant world with a bunch of islands which act as little stages, right? And each stage, and it even has Mario 64 feel to it because okay, so each stage has three unique cat shines to it,
Mm-hmm.
but they each have a cat shine for collecting shards, which are essentially red coins. There's 5 cat shine shards. Get all 5, you get this cat shine, right?
Yeah.
And then there's the Fury Blocks shine, which carries on to the next segment. Fury Bowser is such a fucking cool idea, and it's pulled off nice. It's pulled off really well, I'll say. Because Fury Bowser, when he comes out, he's not only is he a nuisance hurting you, but you not only so you have to use him to help you for the Fury Block shines, because you have to use his fire breath to blast open the blocks to collect shines, right?
Yeah.
But you also have to he can also help with platforming because he'll put these like land spikes everywhere, which can actually help with platforming.
Right.
And it's so cool. It's just like it's one of those things like Bowser's Fury, despite being a short add-on to 3, it feels of like a new Mario game. Because you know how like a new 3D Mario game is like that thing where it's like you can see the creative team just brimming with so many ideas, right?
Oh, absolutely.
That's what this feels like. You know, you got the Fury Bowser, which is not only an entirely kind of brand new neat idea, but just the way he pops like okay, my favorite thing is okay. When Fury Bowser comes out of the water in the center of the world, right? Sometimes like with each transitional phase, you'll get a little cutscene of him coming out, right, and popping out.
Mm-hmm.
And the best part about that little cutscene, they had a rendition of his entrance theme from Super Mario World for it.
Aww.
You know the bum 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 bum. You know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, they brought that back for Fairy Bowser, and it was so it's okay. Like my only real complaint with the game is that it's short. And also a minor complaint, it's not a big complaint, but it's a bit of a minor complaint, is just I think it would be cool if you could play as other characters in Bowser's Fury, like, you know, the other 3D World characters, but
Like
that's just
you'd
a
be
minor
able to still
complaint.
play as Peach and Luigi and Toad.
Yeah. But just like, oh man, the game is so much fun and it's just brimming with so much just charm. Also, everything is a cat. Everything is a cat. Yeah.
Everyone is cat.
Yeah, everything and everyone has got piranha plants. They got cat ears now. Koopas have a cat tail and cat ears, and they're covered in fur, which just doesn't feel right for a Koopa. But yeah, basically the main gist is you collect. Like I wouldn't say it's linear, like it's very open actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, so and just okay, so Fury Bowser, the whole idea with Fury Bowser is that he's basically just being fueled off Bowser's just overall rage toward Mario, right? I mean, it's Fury, it's
Yeah.
based off pure fury. But one thing I really like is that okay, so every so often you'll get access to the Giga Belt if you get enough cat shines, which is just allows you to get big and fight Fury Bowser, right?
Yeah.
But not only is the theme when you fight him really good, like okay, real quick, all the music in this game in both 3D World and Bowser's Fury is really good. It is really good. His theme is really good. But when you fight Fury Bowser, you'll enter kind of a new phase. So after you fight him the first time and kick his ass, he'll be a bit of more of a nuisance. He'll pop up a little bit more frequently.
Right, because he only
Whenever
he shows up every certain like he
yeah,
starts showing up like every 30 minutes was what I right, and
yeah,
then each time you
kind
beat him,
of.
it gets shorter and shorter.
Yeah, it gets shorter and shorter. Yeah, but the
Okay.
thing is, another thing to note is that getting Fury Bowser to piss off isn't really that hard. Either you can wait it out, you can either wait out the whole event, or you can just get a single cat shine and it'll make them go away.
Okay.
No, it's not. Yeah.
So it's like if you,
Um.
it's literally just like you at least complete one minor part of the objective. It's not like you're feeling like you're becoming like super overwhelmed to just focus
Yeah, yeah.
on. getting this one specific, like, just to get them off your ass. You don't have to go through this whole obstacle course. You just do this one small little thing, and that will cover it for the time being.
Especially because there is a cat shine related to having him out. It's the Fury Blocks one. So if you really need to get him off your ass, you can do that and then get that shine, have him piss off, and then go back. Also, Finn in chat just said, "Guys, I just sharded myself and I need help." And to that, I say, CJ, CJ, you're near them. You go over there.
You want me to? Okay, you want me to end the? You want me to end the stream? Just drive off and.
No. I'll continue talking. You can go handle it. Okay.
I'm the one who's hosting the stream, so if you get tired, I can't just keep the stream going.
I can keep going. I can keep going. Okay. Don't worry. Remember when you took when you used the bathroom on your stream once, and like it was just me, and I was like talking to your chat.
Yes, but that was like 5 minutes. That was like 5 minutes.
No,
it's an hour for longer. It's an hour for me to go drive out to Finn.
That day in particular, you did tell me you were feeling kind of constipated, and it took a little bit longer. So it's just like it'll be fine, CJ. I got this. You don't need to worry about a thing. Go.
Joe, whenever you say I don't need to worry about something, I immediately get terrified.
Well, why? Why do you not trust me?
No, I trust you.
Finn, not again.
God damn it, Finn.
CJ, you gotta do something. You can't leave Finn like this.
Why can't you do it?
I'm across the country.
Yeah, I have a broken hip.
Okay. Unbreak your hip then.
just all right, I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Finn, god damn it. Stop shitting yourself. Don't eat. Just do not. You can't shit if you don't eat.
All right. Anyways, yeah.
No.
Bowser's scary. He's covered in his black goop, and he'll shoot his giant spikes at you.
Oh, he'll shoot his spikes at me, huh?
Yeah. Also, another thing.
Bowser is sharding at you.
Oh my god, I've just like lost my entire train of thought from this. Oh man. Yeah, after you get the 50 shines and you beat Bowser for the first time, like, and get the credits for the first time, you log back in, there's more challenges, but it's like, okay, how to put it? You can complete almost the entire game before you beat the credits. I don't know why you'd want to do that though, because
so like
Fury Bowser's
it's very much like Odyssey, where there's like all those extra little challenges that you can do.
Yeah, but those extra challenges are a lot more fewer than Odyssey, because like, okay, Odyssey, when you beat Bowser for the first time, like 75% of the game opens up,
Yeah.
But here it's more like, oh yeah, there's like an additional 20 or so shines that you couldn't get previously. There's plenty of shines you can get just from playing the game as is.
Mm-hmm.
But once you get the credits, a little bit more opens up.
Gotcha.
But also another thing. See.
Guys, I think it was the Mr. Beast burger that gave me E. coli, hence why I cannot stop sharding. Excuse me, I have had a Mr. Beast burger, and it did not make me profusely shart. However, off topic, Mr. Beast burger is way too fucking expensive. At least delivery-wise. At least delivery-wise, it's way too expensive. Uh-oh, Joe.
I mean, yeah, okay.
What?
I didn't really know what to say, so I didn't really say
Okay, I was like, oh no, did we lose Joe again?
No, I just kind of...
I mean, Mr. Beast burger is fine. But...
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, so... I guess my main question with Bowser's Fury is, like... Do you feel like you said it was definitely worth the pickup. Do you think that the combined package is of 3D World and Bowser's Fury is worth $60?
Most definitely it is. And let me put it this way. I'm going to compare it to other Wii U Switch ports, right? So Bowser's Fury, what you get a objectively better version of Mario 3D World with better gameplay, a new move, and online multiplayer, as well as the entirety of Bowser's Fury, which is a large, expansive addition to the game. Those are 4 major additions. You want to know what you get with Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze? You get Funky Kong.
You get Funky Kong.
I love Funky Kong, but he's
the best character in Mario Kart Wii. He's the best.
I know, and they didn't bring him back. But the thing is, like, okay, Funky Kong, he's great and all, but the main problem is with Funky Kong is that it's just a glorified easy mode.
Yeah.
Pikmin 3 Deluxe. I heard they added like 12 more missions, but again, it's only 12 more missions, and I heard they're fairly easy at that. What else is there? Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. You just get all the DLC and a few new characters in a revamped battle mode. You know, okay. I think with battle mode for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, they either should have added more tracks than just 8, or they should have kept the original Mario Kart 8's battle mode on the actual tracks, so you could have at least a collective amount of 16 tracks rather than just
like just all of the previous tracks just all in one package.
Yeah, exactly. Since they technically cut those battle tracks, technically speaking, even though they were just recycled of the race tracks, I mean, they could have at least kept those in as well. What else? Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. One character, if you play with 4 people, one person is forced to play easy mode. That is with either their Nabbit or Toadette. They are forced to essentially play a botched, easier character because Toadette is guaranteed to at least pick up 1 Super Crown, which means one player is again forced to use easy mode.
So just give it to the horniest person in your group and you'll be fine.
Moving on. Skyward Sword port at least presents a playable version of Skyward Sword. So, I mean, there's that. I mean, that's a Wii port, you know. But again, like, out of all the Wii U ports that are like the ports that are $60, Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury is the most worthwhile because it provides the most new content, the best upgrades to the source content, and it's just such a good game already from the original. The original 3D World was great. This updated version is even better. And Bowser's Fury is just fucking amazing. It is so good. I would definitely recommend.
Do you think this personally scratches the itch for a brand new 3D Mario for the time being?
Oh, most definitely. I think this definitely fits the itch. Because let me put it this way. Even though it's the same game as 3D World, it feels totally brand new because of the new speed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I cannot understate how much the new dive roll and the speed impact 3D World so much. Like, it feels totally brand new, a whole new game. It's really good. It's really good.
Awesome.
And then again, you have the online multiplayer too. A lot of the other Switch ports, all they add is just performance updates, and glorified easy modes that are just all the DLC from the original release.
Yeah,
you know, that's all the other ports do. This adds a whole new thing that is really big and expansive, and it's great. I cannot undersell this enough. Well, you need to get this game.
I'm glad you had a good time with it. I know I have been debating picking up new games for my Switch. Right now, I've been personally playing through Immortals Fenyx Rising, which I've been having a really fun time with. I know I also have to start Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity real soon, because I've been anxiously waiting. And by the way, that battle pass, that season pass, bullshit. Fuck off, Nintendo. That battle pass fucking sucks. I'm not paying an additional $30 for your stupid as fuck cosmetic battle pass and only like 2 characters for season 1. Kiss my ass. But I mean, right now when it comes to like Switch games, just like in general, I have been very hit or miss on
It's
them,
understandable.
especially like Nintendo published ones, because I feel like Nintendo has sort of been in a very interesting spot where it's like some games that they've published have been like really good, but a lot of them have just been like misses. I think
Okay.
the biggest one being like 3D All Stars, where it's like it's cool that they've like made these games readily available, but the
It's
fact
one of
that
those
they're
things
like,
where you can feel like there could just be a lot more to it to
yeah,
celebrate the anniversary
yeah,
of the game.
especially, and I think the part that really bugs me the most is that it's only available for like another month and then it's gone. Less
Oh
than a
yeah,
month.
Mario's gonna fucking die.
Yeah, and then it's gone and it's like you won't be able to buy it anymore. It's like
Yeah.
that's fucking stupid. And it's a lot of like decisions that like especially from Nintendo's end that are like when it comes to their first party titles at least it seems like Nintendo's sort of in a weird spot where there's a lot of stuff like that have a lot of potential, especially with some of the ports, but when you actually like go in and look at some of them like your Pikmin 3 Deluxe, when you actually analyze it, the fact that they're charging like $60 for it, it feels like a little with Skyward Sword, if they add a bunch more stuff to Skyward Sword, not just the overall gameplay overhaul, then if they add like new story content, if they add like a new mission mode, like new mission modes or something like that, if they have to add more value. And I think so far 3D World is the only one from what I've seen that at least adds something new to it that at least tries to give it more value than what it is. Pikmin 3 Deluxe at least added new missions, but like how but you can and like new online multiplayer stuff, but there's only so much that you can really do with that, I think.
Oh yeah.
And then with 3D World, it's like it's a very fun game because sure you can play through it single player, but you also have the online, which is something that it didn't have originally. Yeah. So you get to be able to play the game alongside friends online, which is awesome, and Bowser's Fury with co-op, so you can do a single player run and a co-op run of that. There, at least it feels like you're getting a decent value out of it. I feel like that's something that Nintendo needs to understand. It's sure it's nice to have a bunch of these games on your new console, but if you're not providing like a good enough, like if you're not providing substantial like extra value to it, then it's not going to be worth the full price. It's why I get a little nervous with Nintendo like announcing ports now, because it's like, yeah, it's cool, and some of them are super fucking hype, but like we mentioned earlier, like Miitopia being $45-$50, like I don't know. Even though even though it is technically a 3DS port, I was mentioning this to some friends when I was doing my reaction to it on Twitch. I was like, if they bundled Miitopia with Tamagotchi Life and made it $60, like I feel like that would be a great value.
Well, yeah, because both those games were like $30, and then
yeah, and then you get
new content bundled together. That would be well worth the price.
Yeah, I would pay $60 for Tamagotchi Life and Miitopia together.
Those are two packages that were originally like $30 put together. So yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, and there's enough content there with like, each game that you could even do like crossover stuff between the two. Like if you like say you get a certain character in Miitopia that you could bring over into Tamagotchi Life or vice versa. Like that could be something really fun. Sure, that's like extra coding on top of it, and that's extra assets you might have to create and extra time you have to invest into making something like that happen. But if it makes the overall package a lot better, I think that makes it inherently worth more as a consumer. It gives you more value as a consumer.
Also, real quick, a little off topic from the ports, but still on the whole money debate.
Yeah.
Have you heard about Balan Wonderworld?
Yes, I'm very familiar with Balan Wonderworld. Square Enix's attempt at a Hat in Time.
Yeah, and
it looks bad.
Yeah, and not only that, but the game is doomed timing-wise. Not only is it releasing at $60 on the same day as like Monster Hunter Rise on the Switch alone, but it's also going to be having to compete with Crash 4 beforehand for $40.
Yeah.
So it's like, yikes.
Balan Wonderworld. I could tell you, I have not had. I can tell you, I have not had a single person pre-order Balan Wonderworld at my
Yeah.
GameStop. Not
I
a
was gonna
single
say
one.
another thing is like it feels especially disheartening to see that because even the director like officially came out and was like, "Yeah, this was my only shot at making a 3D platformer," and seeing that it's not good, it's like, oh no.
Who knows? It could end up being better than what we're giving it. Um,
Not true.
maybe. Who knows? I know right now, sort of like that renaissance. I think right now we're in a weird point where like we're normally, at least especially nowadays. I talked about nostalgia fading earlier, where it's like the games industry in particular, there's like a renaissance period that comes
Yeah.
up. Sort of like how with indie games in like the early 2010s brought back like 2D platforming, so like your games like your Bastion or even like your Shovel Knights or anything like that. Um, and then nowadays, like currently, sort of like in the mid like 2010s, we're getting games like A Hat in Time and
Kind
fucking
of a kind of a renaissance of
like
3D platform.
Ukulele, where we're getting like the 3D platformer renaissance coming back, a resurgence rather. And
Hmm.
Balan Wonderland, especially after a game like the original Ukulele came out, it feels like it feels very weird because
Yeah.
Ukulele was a game that a lot of people had super like a ton of hype into. It was a Kickstarter project. It was one of the best. It was like one of the highest funded Kickstarter projects. You had a bunch of rare devs on it, um,
Mm.
and it ended up being like averagely
It's
reviewed
okay.
at best.
Yeah.
And of course, like that picked up with Impossible Lair, which is I think for a lot of people, like that was probably one of their favorite games when it first came out for that year, which was 2019.
I mean, it
I
makes
want to
sense
say.
because you have to think of it. A lot of these devs just like honestly, I feel like you. Oh god, I had voice crash right there. A Ukulele 2 could work much better. I feel like a proper sequel
Yeah,
because when you think of it, I feel like Ukulele 1 is most of these developers getting back in to developing again,
yeah,
especially in a new engine, new things. They were probably just all over the place, and Ukulele is just okay. You know,
yeah. And
I
then,
think they can certainly do better in the future.
yeah, and then you look at Balan Wonderland, and you have like the support of Square Enix as your publisher. Um,
Yeah.
like Square Enix. Then again, like Square Enix is a very hit or miss company. I think we can all
Hmm.
agree. Like especially with some of their practices, it's they're not as bad as like companies like Konami, for sure. But
Yeah.
Square at least has a reputation, has a very specific reputation of quality, I think.
Hmm.
Um, and it's sort of like I guess Avengers kind of sort of shook that a little bit. But um like Square Enix, you would think that Square Enix would at least give more resources to the team, and perhaps they have. Um who knows? Like I said, it could very well be better than what we're giving it. It could very
Oh
well be.
yeah.
We'll just have to wait and see. All I
So
know
again,
is
most of
that
the
like
impressions were from the demo.
yeah, and right now like I'm not super excited about it. I think everyone can tell just by
Yeah.
how I'm talking about it. I'm not like super amped about it. But then again, it's like I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
It is what it is. And if people end up enjoying it, that's what matters. Like I would much rather, and I tell this to people like who ask like this is exactly what I say to people when they come to my GameStop and they're like, "Oh, what games do you recommend?" I'm like, "I don't know." Because I can only recommend games that I like playing. Everyone else is different. Like sure, I could tell you like, "Oh, yeah, I really like Minecraft." But you could say like, "Oh, I really enjoy games like Call of Duty or Wolfenstein." Like, okay, cool. There's a bunch of games like that. Here's Call of Duty, the new one, and this definitive edition of Wolfenstein. Like there you go. Have I played them? Yeah. Do I like them? Yeah. Would I avidly recommend them to people? I mean, maybe. But they're not
Mhm.
everyone's cup of tea. I get asked a lot of the time, like especially since I work there at my GameStop. I'm like, I get a lot of people that are like, oh, what games do you recommend? I don't know what I want to get. I'm like, well, what I have to ask you, like, what games do you even play? Because if I just tell you what games I like, I can guarantee you that most people would just be like, no, your opinions are trash. Like right now, I'm playing through HuniePop 2.
Oh my god. Okay, real quick about this. Out of this is me just gonna expose you up front here, CJ.
Yes, do it.
The other day we were in call.
Yes.
And CJ's like, yeah, so I have HuniePop 2. And he went on a long,
yes,
10 like 1 hour like gamer rant about the gameplay. And like I agree with you.
Because
it is stupidly complex, but like Christ.
This game is so bad.
Why is HuniePop so complicated? What the fuck?
Yeah. I'm not gonna take up the remaining part of the podcast talking about HuniePop 2.
Yeah.
But let me tell you this. HuniePop 2 is probably one of the worst games I have ever played. And that is not hyperbole. That is not an exaggeration. Genuinely, I have had less fun playing HuniePop 2 than I've had playing any game I have ever played.
Even Bubsy 3D?
Even Bubsy 3D.
Have you even played Bubsy 3D?
I've played Bubsy 3D.
Oh wait, you actually played Bubsy 3D?
Yes.
Oh wow, okay.
I fucking played Return of the Woolies, which is even more dog shit than Bubsy 3D.
Oh wow. Okay.
I enjoyed that more than HuniePop 2. Because HuniePop 2, I will just summarize my thoughts as this. HuniePop 2 is complicated for the sake of being complicated and difficult for the sake of being difficult. It's not even fun. It's bad. There's a point where the game just gets like I will say this is a game that I knew going in. Like and it's the same thing with HuniePop 1 and HunieCam Studio. It's a game that has like a fine core gameplay loop, but you don't play it for the gameplay loop. You play it because the whole game is just shitpost comedy. It is every Redditor's favorite game. Because it's like
I thought you were gonna say for the horny, but all right.
I mean that too. That's why Markiplier's playing it, obviously. That's why he broke his foot, because Philip DeFranco came over and bonked him. It's about time. Damn you, Philip DeFranco, get into Markiplier before I do. But I can say this. The horny aspect is not even worth it. It's not even good horny. It doesn't even make you feel sad. It makes you feel angry. Because it makes you feel angry that you can't even be horny at this game. You're just angry that this game even exists. Because this game can suck my fucking dick and kiss my fucking ass. I've put too much time into this game. Into this fucking game. Mm-hmm. And it is so fucking infuriating. Do you know how, you want to guess how many hours I've put into this game, Joe?
Here, give me, I gotta think about this.
Yeah. Are you checking my Steam profile?
No.
No.
No, I'm not checking your Steam profile.
Okay.
I mean, you've been playing it. I think I remember you mentioned you've been playing it for like fuck are your games on Steam? You don't have them displaying. Oh.
I can tell you, I have nearly 30 hours in this game.
Why have you been playing for 30 hours?
Because let me tell you. So the main core gameplay loop, I know I said I wouldn't take up too much time of the podcast. I'm going to make it as simple as possible because Joe has already suffered through this talk already. And I don't want anyone else to.
I can. And
I don't want to take up too much. I'm just gonna make it real quick.
No, hold on. I can do the summarization for you, CJ.
Okay, you think so? All right, go for it.
Yes. CJ is into masochism, and he continues to play games that he knows is bad, and it's for the sake of doing it, I guess.
Listen, He
showed us footage of the final boss just to prove his point even further and to ram it home.
Listen. First of all, nice play on words with the ram it home. Nice. But So the core gameplay loop after the tutorial is you have 12 girls. Each girl pairs with 4 girls. So you have 48 pairs. Or like technically you have like I want to say it's like 36 technically pairs. You have to go on 3 dates with each girl. So that's the core part of the gameplay loop. That is the majority of the game. That is where at least 20 of the near 30 hours have come into play. Because you have to get each girl pair to a certain status in order to move on. Or like to at least move on to like the overall story of the game. And then you have a boss fight. A boss fight, which I will just summarize as complete fucking bullshit. It is the most bullshit gameplay loop I have ever gone through. Dark Souls has nothing compared to HuniePop 2 in difficulty in boss fight.
Oh man, I'm sorry, but like I'm like winching
yes,
right now.
I can tell.
I feel like the funny Gmod guy that's been collapsing for this entire stream. That's how I feel, especially right now.
In summary, don't buy HuniePop 2. I am gonna try to get a refund 30 hours in. And you bet your ass, I will at some point make a full in-depth review for YouTube of HuniePop 2 Double Date. And it is going to be brutal as fuck. But with that being said, I think this is a good point for us to end this episode of the Nerd Spectrum podcast. God damn, being live has been a fun time. If you were here live, thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for enjoying our voices, hopefully. Unless you are also masochists and you hate our voices, but you stuck around regardless, which in that case, thank you for your support regardless. I'm sorry. But with that being said, Joe, where can people find you?
You can find me on twitter.com at JoeDoesDraw. The ad is that because I got my account taken down a few times and this was all I was left with. So yeah, you can also find me on Twitch where I haven't streamed in several months. Joe the Stream Bean, and also I have a Newgrounds account now. You can find it on my Twitter. Yeah.
Hell yeah. And then you can also find me on Twitter and Twitch as coldbrew_CJ. I also make YouTube content, youtube.com/c/CJPOIRIER. Of course, if you aren't subscribed to the Nerd Spectrum Podcast YouTube channel, we might do this again at some point. Right. Who knows? Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel where you also get every other episode of the podcast. Also, real quick, since we didn't do it earlier, thank you to the lovely folks over at Level Up Coffee. Level Up Coffee for powering the Nerd Spectrum podcast. Level Up Coffee is coffee made by gamers for gamers. Kick energy drinks to the curb and grab your own bag of the brand new single origin Adventurers blend, available now at levelupcoffee.com. That's LVLUPCOFFEE.com. And also, thank you to Anchor for powering the Nerd Spectrum podcast, your one-stop shop for podcasting goodness, whether you are wanting to start up your own podcast or distribute your already established podcast. Anchor has all the tools that you'll need, from recording to distributing and to even ad revenue, where you can start recording ads and start getting paid even at 0 listenership. If you want to find out more about Anchor and you want to start your own podcast, go to anchor.fm. Thank you, Anchor, and thank you, Level Up Coffee, and thank you, the lovely listeners at home, for keeping us going. Is there anything else you want to say, Joe, before we wrap up tonight?
Wahoo!
Woohoo!
I got to prepare myself for that.
You were just like, all right, we got this. It's just,
I took a little like cleared my throat a little bit right there. I don't know if you could hear it, but like I cleared my throat a little bit. Just like,
I heard a little bit. You were just like waiting for the moment. And you were just like, It's time.
Yeah.
With that, I couldn't think of better words to say. Everyone out there, stay safe. Keep your loved ones close. Tell someone you love them. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, is the stream over? Then, yeah.